What's going on, Drinking Buddies? Brand new podcast coming right at you, but you know what we got to do first? We got to talk about those things that generate a little revenue for the show. First and foremost, we are brought to you by the Patreon at patreon.com/MattSlayer. You can support this show for as little as $3 a month. Less than the cost of a beer, Drinking Buddies. And for a little bit more, you can get the audio ad-free, you get the video versions a week early and uncensored. Plus, you get access to my random musings and some other exclusive content that I'm going to be throwing up there real soon. So please, come help support the show at patreon.com/MattSlayer. We are also brought to you by the merch store at anwd.net/merch. Got some really cool new designs up there. New hats, new shirts, new stuff coming down the pipe in the very near future. If you haven't had a chance to check out the merch store, go to anwd.net/merch and check out all the rad designs today. Last, but certainly not least, the two easiest ways you can help support this show. First, if you're not subscribed already, go to youtube.com/andnowwedrink. Just subscribe. Feed the algorithm. Always looking for more drinking buddies. The other super easy way to support this show is Signal Boost. Tell your friends. Just let people know about the show. It's really that painless. Appreciate the hell out of you, drinking buddies. Let's get on with it. My guest this week is Curlyrican. Curly's a fairly new performer, but she's been in the content creator space for a couple of years now. She has a bunch of wild stories, just really open and honest. This was a lot of fun. Definitely will have her on again in the future. So sit back, relax, pop a cold one, and enjoy, drinking buddies.
When aliens come to take over, they look at us like we're out of our minds now. Look at a galactic makeover, and now we're thinking that they just might be right. I cannot wait for this whole world to end. I'm gonna break out the bottle with my friends. I think they'll tell the best stories when we're gone. And now we drink.
Curly, what's going on?
Hey, glad to be here.
Glad to have you here. Like, we're going. Cheers. Let's start off
Okay.
proper.
Definitely.
Cheers.
I have to put a little bit
Oi.
on mine, close. Up that a little bit. All right, a little bit. There we go. My bad, guys. I am a little clumsy like that.
It's okay. As long as it doesn't end up on the equipment, I'm
Hey, we're gonna keep it safe.
right.
Yep.
Tables wood, chairs are leather. Everything else is
Unpredictable.
right. Like electronics. Oh God.
Yeah, there's a lot of cables here, guys, so we gotta be careful.
We thankfully haven't lost any equipment to alcohol yet.
Yeah, we're still not drunk enough yet to break anything. We'll see.
Oh God. Oh
We
no.
shall see.
This is gonna be one of those episodes where tomorrow will be like, did I save it?
Oh my God, did I say that? All that.
Yeah. Those have definitely happened.
We'll see.
Those definitely happen on this show.
Oh my goodness. Let's get it.
All right. But welcome to LA. This is your first trip out here, right?
Well, yeah, for this type of event, pretty much. I remember coming once, but I just stayed in like one house, so like I didn't see anything, you know what I mean? So this is my first time actually exploring LA. It's been pretty fun, actually.
Nice. What have you been up to?
I've been working, shooting a lot.
I know you have another shoot like right after this.
Right after this, and I had one right before this.
I can't believe you were just like, I'm gonna just.
Oh my God, I'm everywhere. But it's good because you're busy, you know what I mean? You meet people, you get to experience new things. So I think it's hectic, but as long as it's worth the experience, make the most out of it.
100%. And on top of it, you're only in LA for a limited amount of time, so why not get.
Yeah, like I try to like blend in work with kind of a little bit of fun. So like let's like shoot outside, for example, so I can like see, places or like drive around for a little bit, let's have fun.
What have you seen? What have you checked out so
I
far?
went to this club. I don't remember the name, but we had the lingerie party there, And there was regular people, so it was kind of weird because we were in. Some of us were in lingerie, and some were normal people just hanging out at the bar, wondering why there were people in lingerie. And after that, I walked through a whole strip that I don't remember the name because I'm really bad at. I'm like a goldfish memory. So
I'm Matt.
yeah,
Yeah.
are you? Okay, so high five for that. Problem here. But I definitely walked through like a whole strip of like bars and everything in lingerie, like people were looking.
That's wild that they didn't have you guys roped off. Because normally, when you have an industry party that there's civilians at, they rope everybody off. And then what I lovingly refer to happens as the porno zoo, where all the civilians are staring on the other side of the ropes, like, what's going on in there?
Ah, yeah, they should have done that.
They
Well,
usually do.
well, maybe next time.
Yeah, because that's unfortunate, a little dangerous to have like performers out in the wild.
Yeah,
like
well,
that.
I did get a little bit harassed at the bar. I'm not gonna lie. It was a little bit uncomfortable and overwhelming, especially when people realize, when the photographers realize, I love my photographers, don't get me wrong. When they realized I was there and they had to take pictures of me, then regular people were like, oh, who is this? And like as soon as I walked up and was alone, everyone would like try to touch my hair, like try to come up with me weird. And I'm like, you can come up with me nice, but I guess like we're the environment we were in is bound to happen, you know?
Well, yeah, and that's why they need to rope people off. Like,
Mm-hmm.
as much as that sucks, thankfully that's the worst of it because people drug girls' drinks and shit like that too.
Right. Like we could have been exposed to many things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just unsafe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not trying to call out the folks at Urban X. I'm assuming this was an Urban X party.
Did I call them out?
No, I'm trying not to, but like
We're trying not to like it's the second event I think they do like this, and so it's understandable completely.
well, I think
And
that
you
that
know.
party had to change venues like last second.
It did too. That's another
That's
thing.
probably
I
why.
give him credit too because my email did say it was going to be at a private location, and again, they probably thought of this preemptively, just like you're saying, and something might have just come up, and that happened.
Yeah, because the original party was supposed to happen like up in Silmar, and then I know that got shut down. So they probably were just scrambling, and that's why it wasn't
Yeah.
like properly set up properly. They were just like, we got to make the event happen.
Yeah, but I still had a good time.
Hey, that's the important part.
You know.
Everyone had fun.
Yeah.
How was the awards, by the way? Like,
The awards were super fun. Like, okay, so like it was my first time being like at an award show like that, and everyone was just dressed so pretty, and like it just felt like the whole environment was just like a good vibe. You know what I mean? And I was nominated for best pro am performer,
nice.
which to me like to be just working for such a short period of time to be nominated within the category of those people that have been working even for years, to me that's a win. You know what I mean? Like congratulations to the person that did win, but to me that is my win, you know, and just the experience of being there, you know, very fun.
I mean, it definitely is an honor to be nominated.
Exactly. Like you're working hard, you're being noticed for your
Well, especially in the pro-am category, because you got to figure how many creators there are out there. Like to be nominated in that category, you are beating out how many hundreds of people to even get nominated.
That's very true now that you say it like that, because nowadays many people can just pull out a camera and say, hey, I'm a content creator now, and boom.
And plenty of people are making a lot of money on OnlyFans doing that.
Yeah, very amateurly. So shout out to them as well. But yeah, very dignified. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
To be nominated like that. Yeah, of course.
That's sick. I unfortunately didn't make the award show last night, even though I was nominated. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
No one called me today, so I didn't win.
next time.
Hopefully.
I'll vote for you. I
Aw.
promise. With all my heart.
I appreciate it. I'll have 2 votes next time.
Okay, bet.
One from you, one from me.
Hey, we'll do it. Make it work.
So now that you're in LA, now that you're actually like out here doing pro scenes, like what do you want to do? More pro stuff? You want to keep doing more creator stuff?
I definitely want to be noticed by a pro scene because I think like I would be a really good fit for like something like brassers or bang bros, you know. And that is the goal, you know, sometimes to at least for a certain period of time for the notoriety of it, because unfortunately this is our industry. As notoriety goes, your compensation rate goes up, you're able to market yourself better, and many things go along with it, right? But on the other hand, as well, I like to at some point later on step away from the camera for a little bit and produce and direct. And it's actually something that I'm kind of trying to work on right now. And it's really, really hard, but it's really exciting. And I'm looking forward to type kind of try to have both of those experiences. So when I'm directing or I'm producing, I'm able to put myself in the shoes of the performer as well.
So what sort of stuff are you looking to direct? Like, what's your ideas?
So like Latina based, very much so, but because I think like that's a category that it's one of my favorites. One, it's popping, and I'm a very pro Afro. So like I'm from Puerto Rico, right? In Puerto Rico, we're a mix of Spaniards, Taino Indians, and African Americans. So hence the curly hair. Okay. So I'm a very pro natural hair, natural, all ethnicities type. And that is the type of goal of scenery that I want to have, or girls or type. But I love all type of bodies. Don't get me wrong. That's the type of scene that I'm looking for. Very beachy, very fun, kind of like that. But also just casual situations type thing. But cinematographically good looking.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are you gonna do some stuff that is Spanish language speaking porn, or are you gonna?
Yeah, because that's the thing, you have to, like, I want to say, like, let's say a situation where you go into the bakery shop, it's this elegant guy that's, getting his coffee for work, and he goes into to get bread into this bakery, and it's just a Latina in Miami trying to work, and she can barely speak Spanish, and he's just like, and we'll try to play it off like that, make it sexy and funny,
I unfortunately have been that white boy in Miami trying to order stuff, but
Yeah.
it didn't result in me getting laid. So.
Oh no! Oh man, we gotta work on the game, man. We gotta get you the riz. The riz.
As I said, español.
Un poquito. Vamos a trabajar tu español. No worries, but we will. And aside from that, I've already produced 2 of my own scenes, although not the same concept, but it's just me getting my feet in the water. You know what I mean? Soon I'm gonna release them, so I'm really excited.
Nice.
I have to choose for that.
That's awesome. Like, because I don't know. I mean, obviously, Spanish is like one of the biggest languages spoken in the fucking world. So, like, it's kind of wild that like more companies don't gear stuff towards Spanish speaking audiences.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I've been asked a lot, like, to talk more Spanish in my scenes, or like do just a scene completely in Spanish. And I now realize why. Like, I started because I really don't watch porn myself, which is weird because ironically,
I mean, yes and no. On one hand, it's like you could not watch porn and then be like, well, no, everything I'm doing is unique and this is all me. You're not being influenced by other people. But on the other hand, it's like you could watch someone's porn and be like, oh, hey, that was a good,
yeah.
camera.
So I do watch some to take reference on and whatsoever, but not in my personal time to be able to like like get off as much. Yeah, which is really weird. But definitely, I didn't think of that until people started telling me that, because I myself don't consume it, and so people had to tell me do Spanish scenes, and I'm like, something's going on here.
Why? There's a whole continent, and half of the continent, North America, that is all Spanish speaking. And a little Portuguese.
That's what I'm saying. A little Portuguese and French here and there, but mostly it's Spanish. So yeah.
And then Spain is still
it's sexy. I love every different accent. I have a little bit of an accent myself. Like today, I'm forcing myself to be like as eloquent as my English can be. But guys, I sound sometimes French and Russian at the same time, like because. My R's are too strong. So, like, some words will come out. Later, maybe, when I start drinking more, it'll come out.
Like a little more whiskey, and you're just like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, the Puerto Rican will come out of me.
Well, and I know there are wildly different Spanish accents, because, like,
yes,
one of my buddies who is from Puerto Rico, and when we went to Cuba, he's like, they're going to know I'm not Cuban immediately.
Correct.
And they did.
And when you go to Miami, it's the same. Like, they're like, where you from? Because they can tell you're Puerto Rican, the Cubans in Miami. So it's backwards because I've had a lot of Uber drivers ask me when they hear me talking on the phone. And I love, like, like those South American countries, the accents from the Colombians. Those are my favorites. I think they talk like they're singing to you.
Colombian women are just beautiful too.
And how they talk. It's like their package deal. Like, you know?
I had a good time in Bogota.
Oh, you have been there?
yeah.
Unfortunately, I have not been, but I just got my passport, so I'm hoping to go soon.
You should.
Okay. So, girls in Colombia, I will be seeing you soon.
The one thing about Colombia now, though, which is kind of a bummer, is Uber's not legal there anymore.
Okay.
And at least in Bogota, the cabs are notorious for ripping off people.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
So
kind of like in New York.
Oh, worse than New York.
Really?
The first night we were there, we didn't know what the Uber situation was, so we grabbed a cab, and this dude must have spoke English because I turned to one of my guys. I'm like, "Yo, our Airbnb was like blocks that way," and all of a sudden he started.
And it was not good walking distance. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he started correcting and like going the right direction after I said something. I'm like, "Oh, this dude speaks English." Shit.
Yeah. Oh, that was fortunate. Yes.
Well, yes and no.
That's just to I don't mean to cut you off. That's one of my worst fears, to be in a country and not be able to express myself and like be stranded in a weird situation.
See, I look forward to that shit.
Hand signs or something.
I look forward to that shit because, as I said,
what?
I barely speak Spanish. I was in Colombia.
So you were okay. Well, let me make sure I get this straight. You were looking forward to be confused in the middle of Colombia,
trying to figure it out.
Was this a challenge that you just wanted to challenge yourself?
Well, I'm one of these travelers that like I want to go experience culture. I want to I don't want to go to a resort. I don't want to.
You don't want the whitewash experience,
right? I don't want to be like,
oh, does that sound bad? I'm sorry.
No, not at all.
But it's the reality of it, you
right?
know?
Like the idea of going to Cancun and going to a resort or going on a cruise,
yeah,
does not appeal.
I agree with you because when I'm from Puerto Rico, but I've already said that. Oh my goodness! But as people come and they ask me, I tell them not to stay in specific areas because they're touristy. They're too touristy for you to actually experience the beauty of my country, or like actual cost effective, still good, not watered down food, because you will get it not as seasoned.
Right. And who wants that? I mean, I'm sure obviously people do. That's
some people do.
Right. Some people just like want to say, be able to check off the list like, oh, I went to Colombia. I went to Mexico. I went to Puerto Rico.
But they stayed in like...
Right. They stayed in a resort where people waited on them hands and foot and they got...
You're not living life.
No,
like, come on, guys. You can do better.
Colombia, like, we literally just, we're in an Airbnb in a neighborhood.
Really? Like in a normal neighborhood?
It was a normal neighborhood. Just went to bars and, like, went out.
Was it fun?
I had a great time.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Did you get laid?
I did.
Props to that.
Oh, she was definitely like...
Wait, I got here for that. Wait.
Oh, I need a refill if we're doing that.
Yeah. Wait. I'm coming.
This is 94 proof, by the way.
Oh my God. Does that mean this goes hard fast? My English is impaired, so what does that mean?
That it is...
Strong?
Yeah, like 46.5%, 47% alcohol. Or, 47.5% alcohol.
We're gonna slow this cup down, guys. Hey.
But yeah, she definitely was like, looking like, oh, hey, American, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's the oldest profession. It is, seeking arrangements,
right?
To put it in a polite way.
If your pussy can buy you a new life.
I'm gonna say this because a lot of people don't want to admit it. A lot of guys, if they would have a vagina, they would be selling pussy.
Well,
can I say that word?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. This isn't the radio. You can say whatever the fuck you want.
Okay, no. Yeah, a lot of guys, and I've asked some of my friends, and they do admit to it, but a lot of guys won't. I don't know why, like ego or something. But they're like, yeah, if I was a girl, I'll definitely use my fucking body to make money.
They're not willing to put their money where their mouth is because they're not out there fucking gay dudes.
The gay for pay thing.
Right. They could go do gay for pay. If they really were putting their money where their mouth is.
It's a very emotionally demanding job. So sometimes, they don't think into that part of it.
There's the whole like breakdown of your masculinity of like, oh shit, well, I had gay sex, even if you're not into it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
am not being a proponent of like that you should go do gay for pay if that is not in your comfort level. But the motherfuckers who are talking shit are like, oh, if I had a pussy, I would be making all the money. Like, yo, bro, you have a back pussy.
Oh, I had never thought of it that way. Okay, yeah,
Just
they could do the gay for pay thing and still keep their personal morals intact.
yo, you're fairly new to the industry, but I'm sure, I am positive at some point in your career, you're going to end up having a scene with someone that you're not necessarily attracted to, that you would never have sex with in the real world in a million years.
Yeah, well, actually, when I started, like when I did, oh, I'm not gonna mention any names,
Yeah, please
but
don't.
when I did like like creator trades type thing, in one of my first beginner stages, it was terrible, and it was get closer. I'm sorry, and that was actually when I went to LA. That my first time in LA. That I was just staying at a place. It was the thing is, it was my camera guy that knew a person there that she was experienced in the industry, but unfortunately, like the experience, it was like not the greatest. Not.
But it's your job to put on a good
But
performance.
you have what did it, and it looked great. Like you cannot tell, but like it was like, as you can say, sometimes you have to work with someone that maybe you don't like to, because it was the tension was in the environment. Like you can feel it. Like when someone is maybe not completely gay and they're like forced to like perform gay, which I really don't like. I am against people being like, "Oh yeah, I'll shoot a girl scene with you," but then be really whack at eating pussy. Because that's not gonna sell for you or me, baby. Like,
But it's your job to sell it.
yeah, do it good.
Yeah.
Or
But,
don't do it.
but
That's what I think.
well, it's one of those things where like it's performative, so sometimes you gotta fake it.
But fake it good.
Well, yeah, obviously.
You know what I mean? I'm talking about those girls that are like just the tip of you can tell it's exaggeratedly light.
It's like a small child. You're like, eat your Brussels sprouts. Like,
I have to do this. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you're gonna do that, don't do it, because what are you putting yourself through? I don't know.
they're hoping camera angles will hide that shit,
Right, right. I guess so. The camera magic. They're
right? Like
expecting that.
the magic of poster was just like you got a hand in the back of their hair, and like all you see is the face.
But the thing is, me with porn, I like very realistic porn. Like when I do watch porn, which is very few times, is very home amateur porn. Very funny, like specifically Russian homemade amateur porn. They have really weird storylines and they're fun.
Why
And
Russian?
because there's a girl I found that she does amazing rimmings, and that's one of like my things in my like performance, like I and my personal life. So and I found she did it really good, and I went to her page, and from there it just went down, man.
Just
I
down
went
the rabbit hole.
I went a rabbit hole. Shout out to Russian for your homemade porn, man. And I'm Brazilian homemade porn as well, specifically girl on girl. That's how I perfection my face sitting. Actually, yeah, yeah. Should I have not said that? Yeah.
That's fine.
Pointers, guys.
Right.
Take in some pointers. Watch some Brazilian porn, and shout out to my Brazilian watchers. They really like me out there.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I've been practicing their local practices.
Brazilian women are hot too.
They
Shit.
are hot as hell. So Monica Santiago, if you ever watch this, I am down.
Why haven't you DM slid?
Because I don't know, I'm not, that type. It's hard for me to approach girls in reality. Let me tell you something. Guys are very easy.
We are. I know.
Okay, but girls, you gotta like work it yourself in, and not to say specifically anyone has an ego, but everyone has a sense of importance, and or work your way in, and like and it's kind of hard for me to talk to girls. I get nervous.
Aw.
I like girls a lot, and they make me nervous.
You can't just be rolling in there and be like, yo.
No, especially
I just want to eat that box, girl.
no, especially if they do it like whenever we're taking pictures and it's face to face or I have a performance. Oh, freaking Sarah Lace! Like she was my, I think she was my first girl scene like actually on camera, and I love her for that. Thank you, but she's one of the most sensual people I know, right? And that's where I learned some of my like sexy movements and whatever. But once she got in front of me and she started looking at me very sensually up and down, and it was like very tension. And because I'm really pansexual in real life, I was like freaking out. I was like gay panic. You know what I mean? I'm like, are we performing or this whatever? But yeah, girls make me nervous. Yeah, so I make women's, you know.
Don't worry. I think you'll get over it in time. I think
Yeah.
as you develop more of a name, you'll get right over that and be like,
Yeah.
nah.
But some girls, don't get me wrong, some girls do approach me very strongly. Like I had like I went to a place that we were having like a private party and like girls were drinking and whatever. And I was very kept to myself because, as I mentioned earlier before the podcast, that you guys know I'm not drinking too much. So everyone was in a different level, right? And I no disrespect, but I kept to myself. I'm more of a smoker, so I was just chill, like high as hell, just chilling. But they were like rubbing up on me and wanting to like just get with me, man. And I have that effect sometimes on girls.
Oh no, girls.
And then I don't know how to react. But that's the thing. I don't know how to like play it cool. You know, it's like
Well, I think if they're trying to get in your pants in there, if you're down, why be cool about it?
true. But if they're drunk, I don't like it.
Well, yeah, like you don't want to. No one wants.
I
to
want it to be like, you know, the chemistry like casual, like. You know, is that I'm a hopeless romantic. Oh my god! But I love like I feel like I'm the best pussy eater ever. I can eat pussy like for a really long time, like, and I feel like people should like see more of my girl scenes. Yeah.
So, are you eating a lot of pussy in real life though?
Sometimes.
That sounds like not enough.
Not enough. My partner and I are open to it, but it's not like it happens all the time. Like, you know,
Why not?
I don't know. Not all girls are down to it, you know. And it's like, okay, like it's something that you have to be very safe about who you choose, especially because we're public figures, you know what I mean? So like I'd like to do it with someone safely within the industry, but also not someone that's messy, someone that's chill and vibes, you know. And it's hard to find that. It's like a hard balance.
Yeah, I guess that does make it a little difficult.
Right?
Listen,
And girls are emotional.
they are.
Hmm.
I mean, is there any fear of like bringing a girl in with your partner as well, and then like some girl trying to like steal your man or some shit?
Oh, no, not at all. I know what I got. No, not at all. It's just the time the finding the right type, specifically because we have completely different types of likings at times. That's pretty much it. And just that it's not something like we want to be exposed to often, you know, because sometimes it be with experiencing it, sometimes it's been whack. So like it's been like we haven't been trying, you know.
Yeah, it's like, this was not worth the effort.
Exactly. Sometimes it's like, oh, man, I wish we could fuck the same girl we fucked that one time because we tried this other girl.
What happened to that girl then? Why aren't you reaching
Exactly.
out?
We will. We shall.
So what do you look for in a girl?
I'm pansexual, so like I like everything. So, but I'm an ass person. So I like ass eating. I could eat ass for hours. I'm not shy about it. I advocate for it, especially for men, because men are very like biased about that subject, which is really silly because God, if so, made your what do you call it?
Our G spot.
Your G spot is in your anus, so
Yeah,
it's all connected, homeboy. When they lick your goosh, is because it's reaching that, you know. It's all connected, so don't be scared of getting a little bit of in there.
I hate to break your heart here, but
No, don't say it.
I got digestive problems, so
No, you've never had it.
I got digestive problems. I'm just like, nah.
You have digestive problems?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm a. You could douche before, or like just wash.
I mean, I wash my asshole. Don't worry.
Like,
It ain't filthy, but it's still. Like,
you're scared of like pooping on a girl's mouth?
yeah, I don't particularly want to do that.
I don't think you're gonna be so into it. You're not gonna poop in it.
You never know. I could get so excited that I do poop.
Very true.
I am not doing salad and gummy bears the night before, so
Very true, especially after this shoot, guys. I've been having a difficult time with my bowel movements.
Did you not starve yourself yesterday?
That's the thing. Like I've had an inconsistent diet, so I think that's what's had me like in the runs. And I had a smoothie, and probably a smoothie wasn't a good idea. And I didn't know. And shout out to Carmela because she's the one that told me which are the things to avoid before a shoot that is anal. But she told me like before I got here, I had already shot.
Oh,
So we had to take a bunch of cut, guys, and that had never happened to me because I swear my ass is the cleanest. I promise you. But this shoot was difficult. But I didn't prepare myself preemptively, so that's on me. So
gummy bears are your friend.
gummy bears?
Oh yeah.
So just eat gummy bears and that's it?
A lot of people do gummy bears and salad like the night before.
That's their diet?
Just the night before.
And then the next day they don't eat?
They don't eat until they get offset.
What if the shoot is delayed?
As a PA, I have dealt with some very hangry performers who were just like,
oh my god, I could not do it. I could not do it. I will tell you right now, I had a problem with one of my first people that shot me for pro amateur scenes. The shoot was like at midnight. And it lasted to like 2 or 3. And the guy was like, he didn't come. He probably had a shoot before and he didn't come like completely, hygienic.
ugh.
And it was the first time meeting, so it's like not. And
That's a bad first impression.
correct. And then like the very least you want to do. He went to have a smoke. I get that because I smoke. But hey, you have Listerine or something. He did not like.
At least give yourself a horse shower, like just scrub.
But we made it through, and
Yeah, it's not all glamorous.
like you said earlier, sometimes we have to do that when we don't have to. But hey, we're here now.
Right?
Right? I've made it so far, guys. Like, that means you can do it too. But don't put yourselves in situations you don't want to. But they just happen randomly. And if they do, take them gracefully, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, and this
Is that the right way to say
yeah,
it?
definitely. And this isn't the job for everybody. And like people need to be realistic with themselves, like that this isn't the job for everybody. And that's why, like, back to the doing gay for pay, it's like,
Yeah.
if you were like, oh, I want to be a sex worker that badly, you'd do gay for pay.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously,
You don't.
you don't want it that bad.
Because you don't consider that option, which is there.
I mean,
Or BDSM, which is a really big thing. You could just peg a nigga or get pegged. It's not entirely gay if a girl's pegging you. Is that a good loophole?
I mean, if they're into it, I mean, if they're willing to do it, they're willing to consent to it. I mean,
I haven't made a pegging scene, so I'm looking forward to that.
do you peg dudes in real life?
I have not ever, but I'm looking forward to it.
Does your partner know that?
Yeah, he knows I'm pansexual.
But does he know you're looking forward to pegging somebody?
For a shoot.
But not in real life?
No, we have boundaries. Like I said, every healthy relationship has boundaries, and I'm not gonna have sex with another male. No.
No, I meant him. Did you ever like, hey,
Oh,
babe,
no, I wouldn't peg him. No.
You haven't even
He
broached it?
wouldn't let.
Have you
No.
asked him?
No. He's not that type. I eat his ass for hours, but no pegging. No.
How do you know if he's going to say no if you don't ask?
Oh. You just know people. You know what I mean? When you spend enough time with them, and there's some things that you just don't.
But the worst you could say is no. Babe, I'm not into that. The worst you could say is no. He might surprise you and be like, for you, I'll let that happen.
Okay, I'll ask tonight.
Right. Well, because what's the worst you could say? No.
It'll be embarrassing, but okay.
Why is that embarrassing? You're like, you just go to him and like, this would turn me on so much if I could peg you.
It would though.
Right.
Oh
So
my god.
the worst is like, yo, I'm not into that. I'm not comfortable with that. And you're right back to where you started, right?
Which, anyways, I'm gonna do a scene, so it's.
But yeah, but wouldn't it be better to do your first pegging with the person you're actually intimate with?
Yeah, it would. We have like the best sex chemistry. And it's funny because he was my first ever like real scene partner for an actual real company. And
Is that how you two met?
yeah, we met at an Exotica last year. So we're about to hit a year. So it was crazy because I remember that we Caribbean people and any Latin people generally were very passionate. Right? You've seen telenovelas, we kiss very passionately, we touch is sexy. Anything. So I remember we did a threesome, we did a couple scenes and whatever, but he wouldn't kiss me. It's like, just fucking. And I'm like, okay. But I remember one day I was like, hey, you should kiss me. And then from there it went downhill. Oh my God. Oh, we started kissing everywhere. And if that man's mouth just captured my heart. Like, is that corny? Ah!
Hey, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, I mean,
There's nothing wrong with having chemistry and being in love off screen.
Exactly. And you know what's funny? We had a scene with a different company, right? And we don't like to discuss our business because it's not why,
Right.
So we went to this company, very unbiased, just the two different performers. But when we started shooting, the girl was like, y'all have such a good chemistry. Are y'all together? And we're kind of like starting to like see each other, so we didn't know how to answer. It was really funny. But people could really tell that we had that type of chemistry. So I feel it was meant to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's good on you because you're still relatively new, but a lot of people have problems finding love, finding relationships.
Within this industry,
Yeah.
I've had that experience. So like, I know I've been doing like pro amateur for only a year, but I've been doing like OnlyFans content since 2019, and I've had boyfriends that are like, you can't meet my mom until you stop having OnlyFans. I've had boyfriends that stopped me from having OnlyFans for 10 months. I've had a lot of situations that are discriminated just because of that. So it's really hard to find someone that will truly understand that, hey, you can separate work and actual physical intimacy because it's not something you can compare.
Exactly. So with the partners that were like, oh, I'm not introducing your mom, how fast did you drop them? How fast were you out?
Like 3 months.
Wow. I'm surprised you lasted that long. Fuck.
Like I said, I'm a hopeless romantic. I will keep trying.
The minute you're like, I don't think you're good enough to introduce to my family, romance is out the window in my book.
I believe a lot in the good of people. I believe also that there's a lot of ignorance, and when you educate someone, maybe down the line they'll learn something from it. And sometimes you do waste a little bit of time, and that's something I'm like outgrowing maybe, but my heart is there.
Well, you can educate people if they're open to being educated.
That's true because people choose to be ignorant sometimes. But
Exactly.
ignorance is bliss.
I know.
That's why smart people are depressed.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. It sucks. Sucks being smart and aware of your surroundings because you're like very logical. But hey, pros and cons, guys. Pros and cons.
And a lot of this shit you didn't get to choose.
True.
If it could have been like The Simpsons, I could just shove a crayon up there and be dumb. Man, that crayon would be right up my nose.
Right? Definitely. Yeah. Some things just don't come that easy.
Nope.
Yeah.
I need a little more brain trauma. And
no, I hear you. Yeah, I have some. But we won't talk about that. But they say that the hottest girls are the craziest. Let me just put that out there.
Well, yes.
But it's true. It's stereotypical, but true.
It depends on the type of crazy. Like, oh, you're crazy about me? That's cool. Until the point where, like, you get crazy jealous and I talk to somebody else.
I mean, like, mental illness type thing.
Well,
okay.
These
like,
are all levels of mental illness.
Okay, the hottest girls are the emo chicks that, like, have BPD and shit. That always have purple hair and a lot of piercings and stuff like that. And they fuck really good.
BPD is so hard to deal with, though.
I have BPD. It sucks.
It's very prevalent in the industry.
It is very right. Let's talk about that because I just recently heard that, right? And I have not done a ton of research as
I mean, all my research is anecdotal from people I have met over the years.
So you've met a lot of girls that have BPD in their
And dudes, too.
And dudes too?
Yep.
Wow. I didn't know there was a common denominator in dudes. I wouldn't believe it.
Zoe Sin and I was talking about this a couple episodes back, and it makes sense because like people with BPD are looking for admiration, they're looking for new stimulation, and
Yeah, it's because okay, so the whole thing with BPD, having lived with this and being actually diagnosed, I'm not embarrassed. It's something I advocate for. BPD is like your personality is having no personality. Imagine that. So like just imagine trying to fit in different things. That's why you dye your hair different times. That's why you change your mind. And oftentimes you are mistaken as trying to be like manipulator or stuff like that. But it's basically because you lack abandonment issues or stuff like that, that you're trying to fill in certain gaps. And also there's bipolar, portion of it, that you have mood changes. That's why people take mood stabilizers, and you should take them every day so you don't go off on people.
well, and unfortunately BPD has a high suicide rate.
Yes, and that's something that people want to deny. Like people nowadays treat depression and mental health as a pseudoscience. A lot of these podcasts, and I will openly call them out because I don't like that. Let's be real. There are studies, there are brain scans. They do take we know study researches take about 40, 30 years. You know what I mean? But we do know mental issues need to be treated a certain type of way, and without medication and proper adjustment to it, you won't have a regular life. Specifically with BPD, because you're consistently with a mood dysregulation. That's what it's called. You're up, you're down. It's like a roller coaster.
Well, and the problem with mental illness versus like physical ailments is like you can lie. If you have a broken leg, you can't lie that your leg's not broken.
Yeah, but the thing is with the mental illnesses, a lot of people, unfortunately, because they can't see it, they think you're faking it, or they think you're overly exaggerating it,
or they're afraid of the stigma that comes with it.
That too, or to be associated with someone with that stigma.
Yeah.
Yeah. It takes a lot of compassion. I think this world lacks a lot of empathy and compassion.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. In the future, I want to open a nonprofit for behavioral health, because I think that that's something that it's not very well funded and treated.
Yeah.
Especially under what's it called? Underprivileged communities. Because if you can't pay for health insurance, how can you see a social worker or a therapist or something, or someone that you can't. And let's be honest, people, some people are not taught normal values of coping, like how to do good stuff. The way I was raised, it was if you cry, I'm gonna give you something to cry about. And that's not good, because you keep that stuff inside, you know what I mean? And you gotta let it out.
Anecdotally, a lot of the Puerto Ricans I know in my life are there's a lot of bravado in the Puerto Rican culture.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of Latin cultures. But I think it's just across any country that the basic families don't teach that, maybe, or bias on how they teach it. There should be at least a nonprofit that, hey, I'm not going to charge you. I'll offer you some basic human skills of how to cope.
Well, and the problem with the nonprofits in a lot of cases, LA is, because it's LA, there is affordable mental health care out there.
Really?
But the problem is, you get what you pay for.
It's not that great.
During the beginning of the pandemic, I was seeing a teletherapist through, one of the social work, and it was just the first time I met with this person, I told him, my father's dead, and he's been dead since 2017. And during the second one, it's so how's your relationship with your father? I'm like,
he's so robotic. I hate that. It's really hard to find a good therapist.
Yeah, it's one, you're robotic, or you're overworked.
Or you're not listening. Or,
you're not listening, or you're overworked, or whatever the thing.
Why do that type of job if you're not going to be committed to it?
Yeah, and I legitimately went off on him.
Did you?
Oh yeah, I'm
don't be unapologetically. I would have too.
Yeah.
I don't judge you. I'm sorry, guys. You might hear me my nose is this change of weather sucks. I just snorted over you talking. I don't know if they're gonna hear that.
Don't worry, if I do my job right.
Sorry.
But And I went off on the dude, and he was like, "Oh, I think this is a good, honest moment for us." I'm like, "Good save on you not doing your fucking job, dude."
That was so avoidant of him,
Yeah.
but it happens. You know
It
what I
is,
mean?
but it's also like, once again, this is all anecdotally, but it feels like I got what I paid for.
Yeah, I had one psychiatrist cancel on me, very petty. So I understand that. And in Puerto Rico, unfortunately, we do have somewhat of universal healthcare, but because of that reason, doctors don't get paid fairly. And when you don't get paid fairly, what happens?
You know, do
You
it.
don't do your job right, do you?
So-
Or you do it like very extendedly, or like, you know what I mean? So I've known people that travel to other states, do GoFundMe's, do the most to get treatment somewhere else with another doctor, whereas they can get it in their homeland, and that's something really sad.
In an ideal world, completely socialized healthcare should happen.
Utopian world.
Right. In a utopian world. But the problem is, when you still have the ability to have private practices, or the talent is going to go to where the money is, because
Capitalism.
capitalism. When I was in Cuba, like our
Yeah, let's talk about that.
our cigar tour guide,
Hmm.
his wife was a doctor, and he's like,
Okay.
because of the tips from Canadian and British tourists and stuff like that, yeah, we were like one of the first sets of Americans he had seen in forever.
Wow.
Because I went in,
Made his day, huh?
I was there in 2017, like on one of the very first flights that were legal from the States straight to Havana.
Really?
Yep.
I didn't know about that.
And our tour guide's like, I make so much more money than my wife, and she's a doctor.
That's sad. And you know what? When I used to work at constructions. I've done 1,000 types of jobs, and I met people that very honorably immigrated and had to work that type of job because they wouldn't get any other type of jobs, right? And you would talk to lawyers, you would talk to engineers, you would talk to doctors doing construction work, man. And you're like, in your homeland, you're such a smart person. And even here, you could be, but you don't have the chance to.
Well, and it's fucked because like you could be a doctor in one of these countries, and the U.S. doesn't recognize your education, and you couldn't get licensed to be a doctor if you wanted to be.
I think sometimes, I don't know if this is like shitting on the US. But anyways, I'll tell you guys a book to read later on about the United States and Puerto Rico, very controversial and good. But because of I think the United States is backwards from a lot of places. Like for example, we use kilometers in Puerto Rico. We don't use is it miles?
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think when you tip at restaurants in other countries, especially European countries, and I'm not sure if I'm saying this right, call me out if I'm wrong, you don't have to tip or something like that. Like it's more of a gratuity type of stuff.
So that all depends on where you are in Europe.
Correct, right? But it's not like mandatory. Like here, you have to, like, because
They pay subpar wages.
servers are paid shit.
Yep.
And that's something that has to be worked on, but because of our capitalism, it's not well adjusted.
Like in the UK, like you might tip a bartender on a pint or stuff like that, but like
Okay.
you don't really tip.
Yeah, at a bar.
Yeah, you
but
tip,
not at a restaurant.
you don't really tip at restaurants.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. And maybe you know more because, again, I haven't traveled. So I'm just assuming from where I've learned because I studied with international people in my classes in university. So this is something that we talked about.
Yeah, my audience has heard this, but like I've been on 6 continents. Like I've been all over the.
What?
Yeah.
What are the 6 continents?
I'm only short of Antarctica. So the current
So again, we're not very well taught on United States geographic.
country-wise, I've been to obviously America, Mexico, Cuba, Colombia, Japan, Australia,
Obviamente kudasai.
the UK, France, Spain, Finland, Germany. the
Oh,
Netherlands.
much has been beautiful, Finland, huh?
Finland was rad. Like I really wish I need to go back to Helsinki and spend more time there.
What did you go for, if you don't mind me asking? Did you
Get drunk and
did you rave, or did you go to a rock concert or something?
I went to an English speaking comedy show. It was literally.
Disappointed. Look at me, guys. Look at my disappointed face.
I would have loved to have gone to a metal show there, but the problem is I was there for about 56, 70-ish hours. Like
Yeah.
Literally, me and my friends went to Amsterdam.
Okay.
Then we went over.
Oh, that's a drinking capital.
Yeah.
Isn't that what Anne Frank's house is?
Yep.
That's where I want to go. I'm a nerd.
You want to go to Anne Frank's house?
Is that weird?
No.
But go on. I'm sorry.
And then from Amsterdam, we bounced over to Munich for Oktoberfest.
Nice.
Went back to Amsterdam. We're there for another couple days. My friends went back to the States. I went to Finland for like 2.5, 3 days.
Nice.
And then I came back to Amsterdam for a night and then went back to the States.
Really?
Yep.
Was it fun? Draining sounds, but fun.
It was fun. It was good.
That's what I'm telling you. Like when I do these travel trips, it is draining, as you said earlier. Shoot, which was anal, guys. I'm drained. And then another one later. It's like, oh my god, but it's worth it because you're experiencing things.
Exactly. And like all those trips, except maybe Munich, we were in an Airbnb in a neighborhood. So it's just like,
I suggest you always go local,
100%.
but
Like,
safely.
well, but it's also one of those things that I found in all my travels. Like, if you've been in a major metropolitan area,
Okay.
if you go to some place where you know you shouldn't be, you'll see it. You'll be like, this is not where I should be.
It looks shady.
Yeah. Poverty, unfortunately, lower income areas have similar characteristics everywhere.
Let me tell you about that. In Puerto Rico, have you been to Puerto Rico?
I have not, actually.
Okay, so there's an area called Isla Verde, and there's another Calle Loiza, and it's two streets parallel, right? The street behind is tourist area, and the other street is regular ghetto-ass projects and everything. So you can definitely tell the economic difference in Puerto Rico, especially now how we're going through our economic situation. So I definitely can relate to that.
Oh, yeah. If as long as you have a little bit of common sense and no ego.
A lot of people, sorry, Americans, a lot of Americans don't have common sense.
I don't disagree in the least.
They don't want to get educated because America is a place of entitlement. It's like they got to get acclimated to America, not America to the world.
Well, and that's one of the things that pisses me off when I'm abroad is Americans like demanding shit in English. Like, I'm in your fucking country. Like, as much as as much as I don't speak Spanish, like
earlier you tried it with me.
Yeah, no, but like when I was in Colombia, it's like uno agua con gas, like
ay, qué lindo. I am proud of you.
Yeah, like I at least try to learn some phrases like
I applaud you for that.
like donde español, like yeah.
That is respecting culture, especially in places because like I've seen a lot of tragedies happening in neighborhoods in Puerto Rico because people want to like look for things that they like to endeavor in that you find in shady places, but they don't respect the culture in those places, and unfortunately you'll get in trouble.
Yeah.
And it's not our fault. Don't paint me as a bad guy. You're being an ignorant. You're not,
100%. Like, it's just
travel safely.
Exactly. A little bit of common sense. Like, when I was in Spain in 2015, we were in
freaking Spain, man. I want to go because I want to go to that chaplain. What's it called? Santa Iglesia. It took 100 years to get built.
Nice. I don't know.
We'll find the name later. But it's like a church, and inside it has like a tree and everything, and it's
nice.
I'm a passionate for arts and culture and history. I wanted to be a historian, but sadly that doesn't pay.
No, you gotta just stay in education at that point.
Yeah, like man, but I'm already in porn. Hey.
Now they won't let you teach children.
No, unfortunately.
But with Spain, like we were in Alicante, and one of the things that I like to point out to people here, especially here in Los Angeles, is like the hills are the ritzy part of Los Angeles. Everywhere else, the hills are like the lower income areas because it's harder to get resources into the hills.
It is such like that in Puerto Rico. That is very true.
Everywhere else,
if you live in the coast in Puerto Rico, you are bussing.
So we're up in the hills, like around Alicante, like checking out the sunset, and this is 2015, so like it had not hit me as much as like, oh yeah, the lower income neighborhoods are in the hills. But I saw the telltale signs, like there's garbage on the ground, there's chicken bones on the ground. It's like,
It started clicking in,
That's fine.
but you know what? I'll tell you this: common sense is a virtue nowadays.
It is.
Uh,
But it's also one of those things like people are like, oh, why are lower income neighborhoods so fucking filthy and all that shit? It's like, because in a lot of cases, those people are working so much.
they don't take care of any of that.
Right. Like, it's
They
like
can't afford it.
they can't
It's,
afford the time.
nothing. Sometimes you can't even afford the actual changes. Like when the hurricane happened in Puerto Rico, a lot of people had like the blue tarp instead of an actual roof for like a year. So it's
Yeah.
you know, you can't afford it.
Right. It's like, oh, I could put a new roof on, or I could starve, and I could starve, or.
So basic needs always come first.
Right. Exactly. And, keeping your neighborhood to Beverly Hills level of pristine is not a priority when you've already been working 16, 18 hours in a day.
Yeah, that's why I have to admit, guys, I dress down. Like I wear cheap clothes all the time. You won't see me branded very rarely. Because why? Why spend on something that's gonna get like, worn out? You're gonna like maybe not wear it that much. You know what I mean? I love thrifting. That's one of my favorite things ever. Anything looks good on me. This was from Amazon. It was like probably like $12.
Nothing wrong with it.
Hey, pointers. That's what I'm here for.
Right?
And when you have it, you have it. You just have to have the confidence to expose yourself.
It's very true.
That's what I have to say. Like when I went to the Urban X lingerie party, I don't know if I told you this earlier, but because it was like at a regular bar, I had to walk down a regular street of people dressed in like actual lingerie. And you gotta own it. You know what I mean? Like I was a little bit timid because I'm not gonna lie, I do like covering myself.
Well, you're not a big person. Like,
I don't like the attention that much. But people were like, "Why is she in lingerie?" And I could tell that look. When you can tell that look, I was like, this don't look right. I hope there's not children around." Yeah, I have an ugly laugh. I'm sorry.
no need to apologize.
You gotta own it.
Exactly.
Someone's gonna take a clip of this and put my laugh in a soundtrack or something. I'm hoping.
I hope so too.
Do it. Make me viral with my ugly laugh.
Try to make that happen for you.
Yeah. So
You're getting your passport. Where do you want to go? Like, where's first?
I want to go to Brazil or Colombia, and I want to go to Colombia because I want to get like my breasts done.
What do you want to get done with your breasts?
Because, okay, let's be real. In this industry, you have an advantage if you have a more aesthetically pleasing breast. I am a mother. I love my breast and I advocate for bodies, but I want to get paid more and I want,
You're welcome to show them to the camera if you want to.
I could.
Yep.
Okay, guys.
I will just edit. I'll just
Look at
edit
it.
in
Can they
post.
see it?
So the Patreon members can see it. It'll be edited in post for YouTube.
So, okay. So that, they're kind of flat here. So because I breastfed for 18 months. So because I breastfed for 18 months and I used to use the pump machine and I was a very I'm still a dedicated mom, don't get me wrong. But those first years were draining. My titties are done, guys. And this guy had the audacity to tell me, "I'm one of your biggest fans, but now that you have more exposure and you're making more money, can you do something about your boobs? Because every time I see you, my eyes just bleed."
That doesn't sound like a fan.
That don't sound like a fan, but that, to be truth, that is a general conception. Let's be true. That is a general conception with boobs like how I have mine, unfortunately. And I like mine, but I want to make it more.
So you feel like it's an investment.
It's an investment. It actually is. Like our industry is based on vanity and aesthetic and progress and working on your body. We are not just models, we're athletes, if you think about it.
Oh, 100%.
Like, who can ride a dick in real life for 5 minutes straight? Look at me, girl. Yeah, you at home. Can you? No. Okay, go to the gym and do some squats. It's really
That's
hard.
a clip. That's a clip.
It's really hard. And I've worked with people that tell me, like, I get winded, right? Because I have like half of my uterus. So that makes me be like a 50-year-old immediately. So I get really hot immediately. But people that are pro performers have told me, girl, you have an endurance when I'm riding because, like, I can really go. So we have to invest in our bodies to keep on going if you really want to make it. So work it. You gotta work hard. Go to the fucking gym. Don't skip leg day.
Right. Right.
Never. I go to the gym a lot. I mean, right now I look skinny because this week has been, not been able to work out at all, and I haven't been taking nothing. Like, my diet has been shit, literally. But yeah, I go to the gym a lot because you have to.
Yeah. You have to be in shape. Like, you are not having regular old sex. You are having
Exactly.
performative sex.
Exactly.
In positions that nobody in their right
would
mind
ever think.
Yeah. No one in their right mind at home would do some of these positions.
Exactly.
They're just aesthetically pleasing. They're not even necessarily pleasurable for anybody involved.
They're not, unfortunately, guys. I'm sorry to say that. Like,
my audience knows.
Like, I don't like my personal, in both in my personal life and in performative, I don't like writing people. Like, even though it looks amazing, because you guys know my ass is amazing, but it doesn't give me no feeling. I want to get some feeling. You're getting some feeling.
I mean, that's wild because I've been led to believe most women like to be on top because they get to control the angle and get to control.
You know when I like to be on top? When I have my personal toy and I do anal because I can control it. And anal is a pretty hard thing. I'll remember that today.
But I wanted to circle back on the cosmetic surgery.
Yes.
So, do you have any fears of going to Latin America to?
Not really, because I've gotten really good recommendations for multiple sources.
Okay.
So I got really well researched and very well educated. And if anything, I'm still decisive within Miami or Colombia, but probably Colombia.
I mean, you're definitely going to pay a lot more in Miami than you are in Colombia.
And a lot of doctors, not to call Miami out, but they've said that people come from Miami to get fixed from their previous surgery. Like, they get botched up. What are y'all doing? What's going on?
So why is Beverly Hills not? There's plenty of good plastic surgeons
man.
here in LA.
Show me the work. But yeah, that's what
I'm sure they could.
Yeah. But you know what? Back to the going to the gym thing. I didn't want to discriminate people that don't go to the gym because I kind of like chubby guys.
Aw.
Yeah. That's a thing. That's my thing.
Or cuddly.
Yes, and warm and nice, and you always have something to eat, and we're snacking, right? Don't tell me that's not true.
It might be true.
We have snacking time,
Yeah.
And I like to have something to hold and someone to hold me. And don't get me wrong, I like to hold, when it's a girl, I like them to be my height. But it sounds conceited because I like them to have my type of body so I have something to get up. Or if not, I like them big.
How big we talking?
Just big. I have a scene with Maria Bose. Go watch it. I wouldn't mind sometimes a BBW here and there.
Hey, nothing wrong with it.
Like I said, I'm very pansexual. I'm so fluid, dude. If I feel it, I feel it, dude. It's just it's there. You just know.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
There's no reason,
But a lot of people are biased. Still in the 21st century, unfortunately. I'm very non-binary, but in this industry, I have to be so feminine that it's sometimes exhausting.
Well, sadly, that's marketing.
And that's the point, definitely. And don't get me wrong, I don't mind it, but in my personal life, I don't dress as flowery. and not only because of that, but also because of my safety, because I have a very full body. I don't know if I can stand up and you can see it.
Yeah, maybe.
Let me see. I'm a very full body person, right? And you get noticed, and you don't want that you'll get noticed, and you don't want that attention all the time. Some people don't know how to behave, so I dress down my personal life. Sometimes I even wear masks, even though you don't have to wear them anymore.
And plenty of performers do similar things. It's just easier than like having to fight off some dude.
Yes, which I will. Don't get me wrong. I did jujitsu. But I am a person that, I'm not going to lie, I will tell you straight up to your face if something's wrong. Because is that stereotypical? You would think?
I don't know.
But hey, I'll own it. Like, some people like me, some people really don't like me because of that specific reason. You know what I mean?
Personally, I would much rather know where I stand with someone than being like, oh, what's going on with that person?
Exactly. Like, and I'm really bad with telling people's like expressions or sarcasm or stuff like that. And I don't like the passive aggressive shit. Like, just tell me if you're wrong with something. Like, just be straight up. Why are you, looking after? I've had people that have blocked me and then now blocked me after I was nominated. I'm like, what is that all about? Like,
their insecurity.
Come on, man.
That's about their insecurity.
Weird,
Yeah, and guess what? It's the trash seeing itself out.
Well, I don't like to see it that way.
Do you really want a toxic person like that in your life, though? Someone who like says that they care about you, care about what's going on, and then like is upset for your success. Fuck them. Do you really want that person in your life?
So you know how I think this industry and a lot of females don't see it, unfortunately, and I like to promote this statement. Okay, there is money to be made out there, right? There's so many freaking categories. There's so much things to do. There's something for everyone. You could be fat. You could have a flat ass. You could be having flat titties. You have something that someone will like. Try it. Why hate on the other person? Try to like maybe learn something from them. I used to watch a lot of girls and be like, hey, what do you do? I literally paid for subscriptions for girls to give me advice. Like, because you're giving me your time. I'm not going to go and be a weirdo and lurk your page, because some people take that offensively, which is weird because we're just learning. But I paid for some subscriptions right when I first started, and I would see their strategies, their selling stages, and all that. You learn from people, and that's how you grow. You learn every day. They say that the smartest person is the one that's always learning.
And that's how it should be. It's, not everyone has all the answers. Like, that's the difference between being educated and actually being smart. Because being educated, just being able to regurgitate information doesn't necessarily make you smart.
I hate that. And you know what? Let me make a parenthesis on that. A lot of people like repeat what they watch on YouTube on these podcasts because they haven't been exposed to that type of conversational skills.
Being able to apply knowledge is actual intelligence. As I like.
Right. Like actual experience and knowledge together.
Right, but being able to apply it. Like, there's
like not just preach it.
Right, not just preach it, but also like, learning from mistakes, actually being able to apply what you've learned from those mistakes.
Being accountable.
Right.
A lot of people don't like to be accountable.
Oh, it's wild. Hell, it's something
It's
simple.
Okay to be wrong. We're all wrong, especially me. Hey, I have BPD, bro. Like, I've been wrong many times.
Same. I've been wrong multiple times.
Done a lot of things questionable.
Same. But it's wild to me. Like, I was out on Friday night drinking with some people.
Okay.
And one of the girls at our table like blew out a candle. Like, it was like one of these, like a wick and like a metal top. And I went to pull it out of the candle holder to relight it, and I burned myself a little bit. And it's just like, oh, fuck.
Why did you do that?
I don't know.
Let me just say.
Alcohol.
Ah, you were drunk. Okay, that makes sense.
And I'm like, ow. She's like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. Like, I'm sorry. I'm like, what are you sorry about? I'm the adult who decided to reach into a hot thing and pull it out.
Yeah.
She's like, oh my God, dudes would have blamed me because I pulled it out. I'm like, you're hanging out with the wrong fucking people.
You know what? That's a trauma response. I'm a trauma survivor, and when you go to therapy and you have PTSD, that is a trauma response saying I'm sorry too much. It's because you've been exposed to an environment that you have to be overly apologetic. So things that you don't have to apologize for.
Like,
guys, you don't have to apologize for everything.
For her to even say like, oh, dude's my age, because she's like 25. She's like,
that's so sad.
She's like, dudes my age would have blamed me for that. I'm like, well, then you're hanging out with the wrong fucking dudes.
You know what? I agree with that statement, but let's add this to it. Think about this. That is also something that's becoming more commonly online because of these figures that they are watching, these YouTubers that are encouraging that type of behavior.
Like, take ownership for your own shit.
Yes, but you know, it's toxic masculinity, unfortunately. It's being brought upon, okay, because feminism was growing and whatever. Now, like, their guys are like doing the opposite, but in a toxic way. There's no balance.
Well,
Where there be no balance? Probably not.
blaming another person for something that they didn't even ask you to do.
Ask you to do, but again, that's what females have been going through for decades, dude.
It's fucked.
It's fucked, but guys are like that because they think like it's like it's easier to not take accountability and blame you as emotional or blame you as problematic or confrontational or stuff like that than to be like, hey yo, like shit happens, you know?
Yeah, like it's literally like you blew it out. I went to relight it. I didn't think about this was gonna be fucking hot.
It happens, bro.
I literally just iced down my finger on my drink.
It was sweet of her though. Like, I mean, she worried about you in a way.
In a way, I mean, I got her number, so it's all good.
Hey, look at you with that Riz. Hey, yo. My man got the Riz right here, you guys.
Sometimes,
Gotta make it work. It's
Right.
better sometimes than never.
right? But it's just one of those things where, like, it was just for her to say that to me was mind blowing. That like
Really?
someone would,
Well, you know what my friends say? That I should say sorry less.
yeah.
Yeah, I say sorry a lot.
Oh
A
no,
lot. It's stupid.
I have another woman in my life who apologizes for.
Did
shit
I not
constantly.
say a sorry a lot of times when I got here?
Yeah.
Yeah, like we were like chilling and whatever. I was like, man, I was a little bit late, and you were like, bro, like it happens. Shit happens. Like he was so understanding that I could definitely understand where he's coming from because I didn't think. As a man, look at me being predisposed. Okay, let's dive into this. Me being predisposed to not being okay with it, I would not appreciate it or taking your I'm sorry exit and acceptance. Does that make sense?
Right.
I would have probably said sorry 5 more times, like her. Sorry, girl. I feel for you.
Yeah. It was,
Wherever you are, hit him back.
I have another woman in my life who like apologizes for
Oh,
shit.
you have someone.
I mean,
Do you have someone?
nah, people I'm talking to. I don't have anyone.
Oh, okay.
No one official.
You go around. Look at you being a player.
I am not a player.
Ooh.
I'm not a fucking player.
Don't play with me. Let's be truthful here.
No, I'm not a player.
You gotta own it. Confidence, man.
Oh no. If I was like, I'm not a fucking player. Like I am not playing.
Are you with girls like I'm with girls?
No.
Man, then I'm but fuck.
No. I have zero problems talking to women.
I suck. So like okay. So like I'm gonna say this publicly because I'm not embarrassed. But like one of my biggest industry crushes was Roxy Sinner. I don't know if you've seen her.
I
Roxy
think.
Sinner, she's Syrian, very pretty,
All right.
and she was the volunteer for my first scene, right? And she wore my crop top. I was so proud of that or whatever. But the year before, not the year before, but a couple of months, I had met her as a fan, and she had taken a picture with me.
Nice.
And when I fucked her, I was like really nervous. Yeah. But it worked out. She was really nice about it, so I appreciate that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Very comforting. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It worked out.
Is that soon out?
Soon. Very soon. I'm trying to make a compilation.
But that's going to be some true passion right there.
Yeah, I should put it out. It's a threesome scene.
Nice.
It's really fun, so I should put it out soon. Look out for my Instagram and my Twitter. I might put it out very soon. Yeah.
I think you should.
You think we should?
Yeah.
Let's put a vote. I'm gonna put a vote.
All right.
All right, let's do that.
Put a vote in your Instagram stories.
Ooh, that'll be fun. Let's do that. We made a promise, guys. Pinky promise me.
I'm on it.
Yeah, we did it, guys. All right.
I wanted to circle back on the sorry thing real quick. Like,
Dude, we talk about a bunch of shit. Like,
yeah, that's how this show goes. That's how this show goes.
and I'm a talker. I'm sorry.
Please don't ever apologize for being a talker on this fucking podcast. Like, there have been people over the years who were not talkers, And you could
You have to force a conversation. That's so bad, man.
shit
That
happens.
sucks. But you know what? I think that in the 21st century that's very common. Because I've experienced like before like being dating someone, I've experienced people that are like, "Hey, what are you doing?" That's it. Like when you try to make a conversation, it's like they stay quiet or shut. It's like
It unfortunately happens, and I think it's only getting worse when we have younger people that are like just experience communication via screens. Like they don't know
I
how
think
to.
that's affecting how we interact with people. 100%.
They don't know how to interact with people
In real life.
right. And it's one of those things where, like, I don't know if you saw this. It came out on like YouTube within the last week or so. Like, a fucking white supremacist troll decided to actually get into a cage with a professional UFC fighter, a Jewish UFC fighter.
Wait, say that again slower.
So a white supremacist troll, a white nationalist troll, decided that he
Like
was
a Ku Klux Klan guy?
like a Nazi, like
Wow. Okay.
decided that he was going to talk shit on Twitter, and then got challenged to actually get in the cage with a Jewish MMA fighter. And this dude was merciful. Like, he was merciful to this dude. I mean, he still beat him up, but he was merciful about how he beat him up.
Really?
And it's just,
Well, what's the controversy within those type of like?
but it's one of those things where, like,
I'm not culturally adept to this.
if you had any common sense or like how to communicate with people in the real world, and didn't think about the fact that, like, oh, in the real world, this person is going to beat the shit out of me. They're just so used to talking to people through fucking screens where there are no
Oh,
consequences.
you're saying because of their how they looked and whatever, or their weight?
Well, like, so this dude's a fucking Nazi.
Oh, so he was like predisposed and like racist and whatever.
Right.
So he was gonna beat him up in a personal type of way, not in a professional type of way.
Well, he was talking shit like on Twitter, just he's racist and like a white nationalist and talking shit about
Respectable.
right. And like the MMA fighter's like, yo, come back it up in real life.
And he did. Who won?
Oh, the MMA fighter.
The racist guy?
No, the actual
The
fighter.
Jewish guy.
The Jewish guy. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, and like he was being nice. Like you could tell that he was
I
not.
don't like racism.
No.
I don't like racism. Like I like my men as dark as my coffee. So
Nothing.
with that being said, like I have no tolerance with that or like any type of like bias to xenophobia. I don't know. I don't think a lot of people know what xenophobia is. And it's like when you're like, for no freaking reason, scared for someone from another country. Get to know them. Not everyone's bad.
Well, the problem is a lot of those people that have those tendencies, they'll meet someone and they'll be like, oh, you're one of the good ones.
I hate when they say that.
It's like,
you know what? I'll tell you about an experience.
oh, please.
I lived in Texas, right? And in Puerto Rico, because of our mix, you could be light skinned just like you, or you could be black, or you could be mixed. Like, for example, my sister is like darker than me, but with straight hair, right? And then my brother is like your skin type. He's like Caucasian almost, but with curly hair, and he cuts it. So, and I'm like this. So we're all different. And I have a cousin that is blonde with blue hair. We're all different. So that being said, we don't have kind of that bias. You know what I mean? So I really don't understand. Like, I don't like that, you know?
Unfortunately, America was so fucking built on it.
But America is a melting pot of immigrants if you know your history.
Well, yeah, and a lot of people tend to try to deny that shit. Like,
Ignorance is bliss. Let's say that again.
yeah.
Ignorance is bliss.
Even how America handles this shit is divisive. Like, you don't.
Dude.
Well, like, as a Puerto Rican, you're not like, oh, I'm Afro-Puerto Rican. You're like, we're all Puerto Ricans.
Yeah, or we could say like, I think we could say Afro-Caribbean, but I still think that's like, dude, like, say you're Puerto Rican, but people do go, let me tell you this, people go on my live and they ask me like, so are you black? Are you mixed? Like, what are you? And I'm like, guys, Puerto Ricans are mixed. I go through this more than what you think of. And really, I don't mind because I think that people just need to be educated. I don't take it in, I know, unless someone tries to troll me, which sometimes they do, unfortunately, I don't take it offensively because I think just people need to be educated.
They do. Once again, as we said earlier, if they're willing to be educated.
Yeah.
When I was in Cuba, it was just like everyone was just Cuban. Like no matter their skin tone,
Damn.
they were just Cubans.
That's cool though.
But in America, it's like
Yeah. Oh my God, the Texas story. I fucked up.
we'll get back to it in one
Okay,
second.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm happy to get back to it. But it's like in America, it's like, oh no, you're African American. You're like, even among white people, it's like, oh, I'm Italian, I'm Irish, I'm. They're like they
label themselves.
They label themselves like, motherfucker, you're Irish. How many generations ago did your family live in Ireland?
Yeah, exactly. They're just going into ancestry.com. Come on, guys.
It's like, I'm Irish.
I'm a mix. I'm 0.5% this. I'm 1% that. I'm 3% this. I know the people you're talking about.
Right. Like, no, motherfucker. You're an American.
Come on, man. You were born in American soil.
Right. Like, oh, I forgot which comedian did this joke, but it's like,
I never been to a comedy show.
Oh, you need to fix that.
I was meaning to tell you that earlier.
You need to fix that for sure. But there was a comedian, I forgot who did this bit, but it was just like, oh, I'm Irish. Oh, when did you move here? Oh, I'm from Boston. Oh, when did your parents come here? Oh, they're from Boston. Oh, when did their parents come here? Oh, they're from Boston. Like, how the fuck are you Irish? Like, and that's the thing. Like, traveling abroad, no one, if I was I'm not of Irish descent, but
right.
If I was of Irish descent and I went to Ireland and they're like, oh, you're a fucking American. You're not Irish.
And another thing is that I would understand it if you would at least practice your traditional, cultural things in your home. If you claim to have that, you know what I mean? Because I know a lot of like New Yorkers, and this is very controversial. They're Puerto Rican descent, like let's say second generation, third generation. That's fine, but you weren't born in Puerto Rico. But do you at least practice some Puerto Rican things? Do you go to Puerto Rico? Do you know your history? Like that's what matters, But, that's how you represent your country.
How many generations after like the Spanish conquering of the island did people just be like, we're Puerto Ricans now?
Okay, I'm not sure if it is right, but we have the French Peace Treaty. We had Spain for less than Mexico. Mexico had it for like 500 years, so maybe like 300 years we had Spanish, and then the U.S. invasion.
That's 1890?
Well, okay, Cristobal Colon came in 1842, if I'm saying that right. And then 300 years from there, I think.
Well,
just Google. Let me Google the peace treaty. So
the Spanish-American War was like in the 1890s.
Yes.
So that's when Puerto Rico.
That's when it was conceded to the United States as a territory. Correct. For pure geopolitical interest, because you know what, we had bad poop. That's all it is. It's guan. Like, you can have minerals from bad poop.
Yep.
I'll recommend a book, if I can make it parentheses. It's called War Against All Puerto Ricans. It'll teach you all about U.S. and Puerto Rico blending.
How many generations of like Spanish settlers in Puerto Rico before they're like, we're Puerto Ricans?
That's true. But you know what? We did have a nationality before U.S. invaded.
Oh, for sure.
We had a Puerto Rican nationality. Like, people, like, I think my great-great-great-grandmother, her birth certificate said Puerto Rican. But then when we switched to American, we were American citizens.
Well, and that's crazy that the amount of Americans that don't realize that Puerto Ricans are American citizens.
Yo, you don't know the amount of times they look like 3 times at my ID. I'm like, it's a real ID. It's just from Puerto Rico. Like, come on, man.
At least you're not from Guam. I'm sure that goes even harder.
I met a guy from Guam at therapy, and I was so bad for him because we're talking about like third world country shit, and man, it's worse for them. Yeah. But we don't have any representation on Congress. We can't vote for president. We're just do as we told.
Yeah, it's fucked. And then
like that.
Wall Street, buying up real estate.
So now we have something called. Sorry, guys, I'm gonna pour a little bit of this. So now we have something.
For someone who's like, I'm not drinking tonight. Start talking about geopolitical.
Yeah, you get me going. You get me going. That's my subject. That's my major. So what was I saying? Freak.
about Wall Street and buying up property.
Okay, so yes, so we are experiencing what's it called? Gentrification.
Yeah.
To an extent, like even the schools are like overly crowded because they're closing schools to sell them to wealthy investor Americans under the Act 22 that can buy old buildings that are not like up to kept after the hurricane. And I do agree that tourism is good for the country, but we need to have something to build upon ourselves. Stop selling our stuff. You're selling our schools, you're selling our homes, you're displacing our people.
Well, and no place should be completely built on tourism, because if at some point it stops becoming popular,
Right.
what happens to your whole economy? Look at fucking New Orleans post Katrina too. Like,
Okay, tell me about that.
the city has still not recovered its
Never been.
Oh, you should definitely go to New Orleans. New Orleans is an amazing place.
Is it fun?
It's so much fun.
Do they really throw the little things at you?
Just during Mardi Gras.
I will go to Mardi Gras.
That's
I want that.
But
like I said, I've only seen American shit from TV.
In the post-Katrina world, New Orleans still has not. Katrina happened 15, 16 years ago. They are still not at the population numbers that they're at pre-Katrina.
Damn, I'm really young. What the hell? I don't even remember that.
Oh yeah, Katrina was during W. Bush's fucking tenure.
I'm 27. How old was I? Let's not talk about that. But okay.
So you're like 12. Wow. The fact that like a major city still has not gotten back to
how it should have been.
How its population numbers from 15 years later.
Wow. It has a lot to say.
And that town is completely based on tourism. Like almost all.
Okay. So I see how the change did really affect after rebuilding the economy.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what they're trying to happen. You know, the hurricane was really bad. I moved to Texas, which we'll get back to that later.
Why Texas of all places?
Because my brother was stationed there and there were no commercial flights out. It was only like military emergency flights. And because of his position in the military, he was able to get us out.
Nice.
Yes, but out of all places, Texas, man.
Yeah, but once you landed in Texas, why'd you stay there?
Because I was married. I was married, in love, young child, you know, trying to live the American dream. You know, before being a porn star, I had the corporate life, as you may call it. I've always had this corporate life. And the funny thing is, we lived in a really nice area, to say it like that, not to sound conceited, you know, but my brother was used to that, so he wanted to place us there. So whenever we would drop our daughter at daycare, my husband was white and had gray hair, but he was young and he had like hazel eyes, so they would treat me as a nanny until 2 weeks they didn't realize I was the mom. So that's like racism right there. Like, they wouldn't address me. They would say, "Good afternoon, sir," and I'm like, "I'm right here." Like, dude, like, that's a real account of real racism right there. Yeah, just because he looked whiter, like, come on, man, he's still Puerto Rican. Yeah,
it's fucked.
It's fucked, but it happened, so I got over it. You know what I mean? But I was petty about it. I'm not even gonna lie. I was like, "Good afternoon to you too. I am her mom as well. Nice to meet you." And I hadn't just met her. I had seen her for 2 weeks. But, you know, if you're going to be petty, I'm going to be petty. That's the Latina in us. I'm sorry, baby. If you're petty to me, I'm going to be petty to you. You give me the energy, I give you the energy back. I have a lot of love to give, but a lot of spice to give too.
Just matching energy.
But not always you can match the energy. Let me tell you something. It takes two to tango.
Oh, 100%.
And sometimes you got to walk out some fights.
I've learned that in my,
it takes a long freaking time. I'm preaching something that I don't do a lot. But I try to make you better people.
Right.
If that counts. Influencers are supposed to influence something.
Hey, we're influencers?
We're porn star / influencers? I mean...
Oh my God, I became an influencer? When the fuck did this happen?
Wait. So, okay. The term sex icons, right?
Right.
We're icons. They represent something.
Oh, I'm definitely not a sex icon.
I am. That's why you have me here.
Well, yeah, obviously.
So I have to say it.
But you were speaking in plural, so I just was like, where I fit into the situation.
I want to make you fit in the conversation always.
Aw,
I'm that type of person.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? Like, I hate it when I take people that don't speak English with my friends because my friends are the most fun people to hang out, but they're vanilla as fuck. But they support me, which they're amazing for it.
I feel that's important. Like, I think it's a good move to have people around you that are civilians.
Yes.
That
It's a good balance.
exactly, because there's so many people in this industry that like everyone in their social circles industry, everyone like they deal with this industry, and it's like it fucks you up for the real world.
It does. It emotionally drains you to an extent.
Well, it emotionally drains you. It's like it just gives you miss out on some parts of humanity when you like.
You do. Oh, I don't want to say that. It's kind of sad, but when you're a female in the industry, you do. You do, especially between other females. It's like, who can you trust? You know what I mean? And it's like it shouldn't be like that. We're all here to win. But my vanilla friends, like when I introduce them to American friends, they don't speak Spanish and we talk in Spanish a lot. So I'm like, they said this and this and this in English. And so that's what I'm used to. That's why I did that because I don't like leaving people out. Even when they're doing my makeup, it's really funny. Let me tell you, one of my favorite makeup artists, she's from Colombia. And when she does my makeup, we put Spanish music and we start singing, we start talking. And I don't want people feeling that we're talking about them or stuff like that. So sometimes I'll say what we're talking about in English to incorporate people.
Well, motherfuckers shouldn't be concerned about what people are saying about them in other languages.
Am I being too nice?
I think so, because at the end of the day, if you were talking shit about me in another language and you don't have the balls to fucking say it to my face, why do I care?
But the thing is, I don't want to be labeled as controversial. As I said, I'm a very straight up person. And that is a very thin line. You know what I mean? Especially with Americans. Y'all are soft as hell.
But if you were worried, like if as an individual you were worried about that you and your makeup artist are talking shit about them in another language, why are they going to believe that you're translating it to something that you're actually talking about? If you are that in your head and you are that worried about what these two people are saying about you, why are they going to believe you?
Yeah, that's true. You have to be a little bit careless.
Like you have to be so self-absorbed that these people are talking about you in the first place.
Aren't people so in our industry? Wouldn't you think that?
Oh yeah, definitely. And it's a bad thing.
It's a terrible thing. I'll tell you, I haven't collaborated, unfortunately, with any local Puerto Rican collaborators because of that reason.
Really?
Yeah, I had an experience. I went to the Las Exotica, and local collaborators were doing it was such a high school thing. I hated it.
Oh yeah, well, we lovingly refer to this as the 13th
Bro,
grade all the time.
I was at a booth. I was saying hi to Sarah, whatever. Everyone's coming to say hi to me, like whatever. You know my vibe. I'm really cool. Like I love saying hi to everyone. I love hugging everyone. But
Can attest, she hugged me the minute you walked in the door.
literally, I'm a huggy, I'm a touchy, but boundaries. If you don't like it, let me know. I'm sorry if I make you uncomfortable. But what happened is that they were like in a group. They didn't tell me they were going. They were just staring at me down, like up and down. I'm like, come say hi, like we're both from the same place. We could work something out. Why hate from afar? And not saying that I am assuming, but sometimes you can tell the vibes.
Yeah, the body language, the energy, you can feel it.
If you're logical, but as I said, people don't have common sense.
I fear that was the alarm that you got to get going, huh?
Yeah, let's take a quick pause so we can make a call.
Okay.
I'll make a call and see if they'll let me.
Yeah. We'll pause for a moment. We are back from bathroom breaks.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. We really needed that break.
We also went through my movie collection a bit.
Yeah, well, I'm a bit of a like a like when you're
a cinephile.
Yes, I'm a cinephile. Like when I need my space or whatever, that's my favorite thing to do. My brother used to be one of those people that used to work at the projectors.
Nice. He was a projectionist?
Yeah.
Nice.
It was really fun. Yeah, I used to cut in line.
I just spent probably about 15 minutes trying to find a movie that I had already.
Yeah,
pulled.
he hyper fixated on this movie, and I'm like, dude, it's okay. We'll find it. It's okay.
And then I realized I had already pulled it to watch it recently.
Dude, and he has so many amazing movies you will never imagine. So, like, you guys see this tattoo right here? This is the Watchmen tattoo. Not a lot of people know what the Watchmen are, and he did. So, props to our host today.
Not even that it's a Watchmen tattoo. It's the comedian's
The
butt.
comedian, and it's very controversial. But again, I like anti-heroes. So, because it's real. Like,
I feel like the comedian's actually a villain.
there's good and bad in everyone.
I feel like the comedian might have been well-meaning at times, but he was a villain.
He did some questionable things.
Then again, I don't think there's actually any good people in Watchmen.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. We're all real. We all have some bad things to ourselves. So I chose the comedian.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, my favorite. I love Deadpool too. Like for Christmas one time, I got a hardcover of a full like 5 volume of Deadpool. And for a cosplay for like an event, I dressed as Lady Deadpool. Because I don't know if y'all guys know, there's a multiverse and there's different types of Deadpools.
Marvel hasn't been doing their job very well if they don't know there's a multiverse at this point.
Yeah, right? You know. But for people that don't know, here you go. I am a nerd. Yes, I am. My favorite trilogy is Lord of the Rings. We were talking about that too. I could watch it time and times over and again.
Yeah, I do have the whole extended edition.
We will watch it. Yes, we will.
Apparently, Curly's just moving in with me if we're going to watch all the Lord of the Rings movies.
Yeah, they're like 3 hours long. That's what I used to watch in the plane.
Yeah, but the extended editions are even longer.
I don't mind.
Well,
I love Legolas so much that I will stay. I don't think a lot of people got that, but if you got that, I love you. Let's play Dungeons and Dragons sometimes.
it's actually pretty popular in the industry. A lot of people do play.
Do they? Dungeons and Dragons?
Yeah.
Hit me up. Where are you? Like, what the hell? Like, I keep shooting one-shot campaigns because I don't have enough consistent people to shoot an actual campaign.
Well, that's a bummer.
I know. Quitters are shitters. Well, I meant to say actually that spitters are quitters, but it didn't have context in the conversation.
You just wanted to say it. It's cool.
But I still want to say it because I'm a swallower. It gives me protein.
Building blocks of life.
It's
Protein is very important.
very important. It's gotta build your muscles.
So what else you got going for the rest of your time here in LA?
I have a couple shoots I'm trying to plan. I'm trying to plan my first shoot with a TS performer.
Nice.
And I'm excited because in my real life, I'm very pansexual. So, like, that'll be both a personal, it's not like I like to mix it, don't get me wrong. But it's like something you've never experienced in real life, but you're exposed to it in your work. And I've known a lot of people that a lot of their first sexual experiences come through porn. So it's not uncommon, you know what I mean? So I'm glad to do it in a safe environment and with, something that's going to make profit out of it. And we're both going to have fun. It's really cool people too.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. I'm very pansexual. I like everything.
So you've said.
I know. I like to say it a lot because I don't feel people believe me. You see me fucking dudes a lot. But that's what they like, because I'm small and it looks very...
Well, and they can also interject themselves mentally into like
Absolutely.
the dude that's fucking you.
Exactly. And I don't mind. And actually, I wanted to mention something too, that I'm starting actually a virtual, what's it called? Like a VR platform. I signed with a VR platform. They're called AF for real or F for real, something like that. And they pretty much put you, it's like the filter you put in your home and you can see the girl literally in your living room. Like very good quality. So yeah, we'll get me 3D right there. So very soon.
Very cool.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I like innovative things.
Too bad the Real Touch never took off.
The Real Touch?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean?
So Jesus, got me almost 10 years ago at this point. They made a device called the Real Touch.
Mm-hmm.
so you could encode your porn that the device would stimulate based off what was happening in the scene
And you would feel it where?
on your dick,
What type of machinery would it be like? Would it be like a little
like a box you'd stick your dick in.
like a
You-
pocket pussy?
I mean, you'd fuck it. You wouldn't. It was
That
too big.
sounds fun.
It's too big for you to like pick up, but it, like
So that doesn't exist. There's nothing like that anymore?
it didn't take off.
Damn. You know what I
But-
actually
but-
uh-huh.
But on the other end of it, they built like something that was shaped like a penis that if you stimulated that like via a cam show, it would also stimulate the device based off of how you stroked it, or
It's kind of gay. No.
not if you're the one stroking it.
Why not stroke your own dick?
Well,
I have to picture this. I feel really dumb right now. I have to picture this, man.
well, so it's like on one hand, it's a box that you stick your dick in and it stimulates based off what's happening.
Mhm.
On the other side, there's something that looks like a
Like a
dildo.
remote,
Yeah. And if you stroked it, it would stroke.
the machine.
The machine would stroke.
Okay. That's like using both hands to jerk yourself off. So
Well,
think about that.
I mean, generally, I think the idea was to have someone else, like a performer, stroke the other end of it.
Did you?
I never did. No.
Well, we'll try to get that happening sometime.
Okay.
Well, girls, he's a good guy. We'll make it work. But you know what?
I'm all for you telling people to come stroke my dick. I'm okay with this.
You know what? I do have to admit to when the first the VR headsets came for PlayStation, there was this base volleyball game of kawaii girls that they were not nude. They were just like big tits, small lingerie, small things, and I used to watch it and I used to like get turned on because
So that's why you weren't watching porn. You were watching that.
yeah,
instead?
okay. Actually, to be very honest with y'all, the first porn I ever watched was hentai. My brother had hentai mangas and hentai VHS, bro. So one time I put a VHS in there. I didn't know what it was, and it was a lesbian orgy. And it was animated, but it still turned me on. And then I went onto his computer and I saw real porn.
Oh my God, no.
Not real porn. I saw the mangas too, but you know, his computer was more accessible. So I was like juggling between those two, trying to figure out what was more interesting, you know what I mean?
So what was more interesting?
I really like mangas. It really turns me on, but you know what? That's how I learned to masturbate myself. So it was more educational than anything. He had a lot of solo girls videos. He had a lot of boy girl content. So like I lost my virginity literally after watching a video and imitating what the girl was doing. And then I started bleeding and I freaked out. I was like, how did I did this? Why did I did this? I was very young. I didn't know. And my parents were very Christian. So for me to come up and say something that I interacted with my private parts, it was not something imaginable at all. So I stick to reading the mangas for a little bit after that.
These things happen.
Things just happen, man.
And this is why there should be more education. Because
Right. I feel sex ed is something that's biased because people are like scared of what they're exposing younger cultures, but you gotta understand they're gonna find out
I mean, they're going to do it
one
anyways.
way or another.
And they're fucking fertile when they're young. So, like,
Bro, I'm not scared to admit I was pregnant at 14 years old.
holy shit.
14 years old. That's what, 8th to 9th grade. I gave birth at 9th grade. Who's supposed to do that? Yeah, that's not normal. You know what I mean? But my parents were very Christian. They were very anti-abortion, you know, all that stuff. So there's nothing that I could do. I love my daughter. She's amazing. But I do think that people should have the opportunity, especially if they don't have the capacity to take on the responsibility at such a younger age.
Right.
Because you don't get to develop yourself. Like right now, I'm living something that I had never lived. Like last year, I started hanging out in places in my own homeland that I had never in my life had ever hung out with. And I've even been married. So imagine that.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I support abortion.
was your daughter's father your husband, or did you?
No, that's the other thing. Like he told me, like if you abort, I'll kill myself. And I was 14, so imagine yourself like, oh man, like if I take two lives at once, you know what I mean? Like
High score.
I would feel really bad. I was raised a Christian, you know what I mean? So it was in a really positive thought in my head. So I was like, okay, I gotta do this, you know what I mean? And I did it, and he disappeared for like a while. Like I've been a single mother for pretty much like 10 years.
I'm
And she's
sorry.
12.
That sucks.
Yeah. But hey, you make it work. That I say it not to pity or anything like that, but anyone that's out there that wants to make it will make it. The way I started my OnlyFans was in a room in my friend's house. And literally, I only had my phone. It was like an Android or some bullshit like that. It was a really old phone. I used to like make shift of boxes and put like sheets on it to make it look like it had a cover and like just make posts, solo videos in the shower, whatever, make it work. If you want, you will make it work. I promise you. If someone has started over and over, it's me, and I can tell you you can definitely start over. Always.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Curly,
I'm sorry, was that too gay for the podcast?
not at all.
I am very gay, but you know.
But it's about time we're going to call last call. We're going to, wrap this sucker up.
Okay.
Where can they find you on the things?
We didn't talk about nothing sexual, so next podcast will get sexier.
I mean, there's definitely sexual things.
A little bit. I could get more sexual next time. Will you have me back?
Yeah.
So where can they find me?
Mm-hmm.
So my Twitter is the hated curly. My Instagram is also the hated curly, and my OnlyFans is the Curlyrican official, and my X videos is just Curlyrican. Pretty much, if you Google Curlyrican or the Curlyrican, I will come up.
Good branding.
I'm trending, baby. I got 1.4 million views in 2 days. I am her. If I could do it, you can do it too. I'll see you next time, baby.
And until next week, drink up, motherfuckers.
Cheers.